Okay, today I'm going to paint the farmhouse in full color, and I've done the layout here in pencil, and I used the value study to project that image by just transferring visually from one to the other. And I use this technique of dividing this into 4 equal rectangles, dividing it evenly both directions. And that gives me a reference point as to where these different geometric shapes are in relation to the crosshairs. So that's how I projected it. It's close. It's actually a little bit large for this format of portrait paper, but I'm just going to go with it. And maybe ideally it would be a slightly smaller than what I've drawn, but I'm okay with that for this painting. I've moved the video to 2 times the speed moving forward here, and also you'll notice that the board is tilted, and therefore the lines, the vertical lines on the house don't look straight up and down, but that's only because of the tilted perspective of the board. So I'm beginning with wanting to do blue sky, going wet into wet, bringing the green down. As I move down, I'm going to clean the palette off so that I can get more of a pure yellow when I get into the yellow that's going to be on the lit faces of the farmhouse. Notice also, as I'm adding yellow to the building, that I'm going to use a stronger pigment of yellow on the lit faces, and then the faces that will be the bluish shadow color, I'm going to dilute the yellow so that it's not such a strong yellow underlay, which could cause a green tone blending with the blue, which I don't want. As I move towards the bottom of the sheet, I'm going to bring in a warmer tone burnt sienna, which will eventually be an undertone that will give a warmer, more intense color in the foreground. I'll be repeating the use of this sort of orange burnt sienna color in the base of the lit face of the building that is all yellow at the moment, because that will indicate reflected light off of the ground. It'll also help with the continuity of the painting, and you'll notice that I'll also add that in a limited manner on that dark left shadow side, as well as up into the tree foliage. Notice as I finish this wash, I will let it dry, and you will see the change of how much lighter it is when it dries. There's the change. As I paint the background foliage and trees, you'll notice I try to paint with a loose, expressive brush strokes. I'm going to leave little passages of the sky beyond coming through the trees, and I'm also painting around some of the larger deciduous trees just behind the house, leaving some yellow passages there that I'll eventually paint over with some light washes and stippling to give the indication of light on the very tops of trees. My intent on this background is to keep the color hues fairly uniform with slight deviations. I'm introducing some cool blues and some warmer tone burnt sienna tones, softly blending wet into wet, and trying to limit the amount of dry brush strokes that would be visible. So the choice of where I decide to place the yellow hue of light hitting the tops of the trees is pretty important compositionally. I'm choosing to do it over on the left, and you'll see in the final painting how the dormer windows that are in yellow slowly cascade upwards towards the upper left above the house, so it creates a kind of a diagonal pattern across the painting, with the yellow of the trees being most prominent in that upper left corner, although it's also balanced with that tree that has the light yellow where I'm painting just at the moment right now. House finally begins to take shape as I continue to negative paint around the house.